Welcome and good day, guys. My name is Mr. Ramdial, and I'm here with Scholars Academy. And in preparation for your CXC POA examinations, I'll be doing a paper one POA CXC paper with you guys. The POA paper that we plan to have a look at today will be your June 2025 paper. All right, guys, so let's get ready and let's jump into it. Now, you guys are fully aware of all the instructions that you will have to follow when attempting a paper one examination. Now, this is paper one, as you guys are seeing, June 2025. Time will be 1 hour and 30 minutes long, and you will have a total of 60 items that you must answer. Now, each item has four suggested answers, A, B, C, or D. You will have to shade your answer and answer booklet that will be given to you guys. All right, and in case you choose an answer which is not the right one that you wanted, you will have to erase it completely and fill in your new choice. Now, also you are reminded that the use of silent electronic calculators is in fact allowed. All right, guys, good. All right, so let's see if we can jump into it one time. Let's go, guys. Now, question one. Which of the following types of business is formed by two or more persons who are liable for the debts of a business? Well, the answer for that is A, partnerships, as you guys are seeing. Remember, partnership is a form of organization where you have between 2 or 20 persons who come together to form this business to work together. So partnership is the best answer here. Now, question two. In the statement of financial position, expenses owing are listed as what? Now, statement of financial position is your balance sheet, and expenses owing normally show up as your current liabilities. Great job, guys. Now, question three. Maharaj inadvertently bought 2 cases of expired mushrooms from B&B supermarket. He returned those items. In Maharaj's books, this transaction will be recorded as a journal entry for what? Now, if he purchased items and he returned those items, that will be classified as purchase returns. So you'll have to record this in his purchases returns journal. Nice. Now, question four. In which of the following ledgers are the most nominal accounts found? Now, nominal accounts, as you guys remember, will be those expenses and revenue accounts, and those accounts are usually found in your general journal. Well, in fact, your general ledger, right, guys? There we go. Now, question five. To which of the following categories of cooperatives does a credit union belong? Now, a credit union is a form of a cooperative organization and it is considered a financial cooperative, as you guys know. So B is our answer there for question five. Great. All right, guys, time to move on to question six. Which of the following actions should a company take if it is likely to incur bad debts? Well, if a company is likely to incur bad debts, it must provide for such losses using a provision for bad debts account. So A should be our answer. Now, question seven. Which of the following list contains asset account only? Now, assets are those items that a business will have to use to help them earn revenue in terms of fixed assets. They also have current assets as well. Current assets, those assets that they could convert into cash very quickly. And the best answer will be C, cash, inventory, furniture, and motor vehicles. Now, question eight. Which of the following formulae represents the correct accounting equation for calculating the value of assets, guys? Well, assets will include your own money, that is your capital, plus money to borrow liabilities. So therefore, assets equal to liabilities plus capital, which is D as your answer. Question nine. Which of the following features is associated with a private limited company? Private limited companies are those companies whose shares are not sold to members of the general public. So the best answer there is A, guys. Question nine, the answer is A. Great. Now, so far, you guys realize that none of these questions are calculation questions, which is pretty great. You can just read them, give your answer, and move on. Let's move on again. Question 10. Now, question 10. Which of the following items is a capital expenditure? Capital expenditure is when you're spending money to purchase fixed assets. Proper answer will be D, purchase of machinery. Number 11. Which of the following assets will be considered the most permanent? Most permanent asset will definitely be your premises, something you buy to keep to use for a pretty long time. Now, question 12. The purpose of an electronic clock card is to what? Well, this is coming from your payroll section of your syllabus, guys. Electronic clock card will be used to measure employees' attendance, so B would have been the best answer again. Great job. Now, question 13. Partnerships are formed for the purpose of doing what? Well, let's go through our series of suggestions and let's see if 1, 2, and 3 is correct. Combining capital from different persons, yes. Benefiting from different skills and specializations, definitely. Sharing ideas, experiences, and responsibilities, of course. Answer D will be the best answer for this question 13. Right, moving on to question 14, guys. Control accounts are kept in order to assess management in, well, control accounts will be like your sales ledger control, your purchase ledger control, and these control accounts will be used to help locate errors. A, very much correct. All right, question 15. To which of the following accounts will depreciation of office machines be transferred? Now, depreciation, as you guys know, will be treated like an expense for business, and expenses normally show up in your profit and loss account. Answer there should be C. Nicely done. All right, question 16. A company declares a dividend of 15%. What is the value of the dividend warrant to be sent to the shareholder who owns $1,501 ordinary shares? Right, guys, so in this situation, it's simply to work out the amount of dividend that the shareholder would have had to receive. Firstly, you need to work out the amount of his investment, 1,500 shares by $1 ordinary shares. That meant he invested $1,500, as you guys are seeing. He's going to be getting back a return of 15% on his investment. 15% by 1,500 will be 225. Totally correct, guys. B is your answer. Now, moving on to question 17. Now, and when you guys come across the questions like this, where there's a long paragraph and then the question coming after, the best practice is to read the question first, then go back to the paragraph, and your mind will be trained to actually know what the question is all about. So be thinking for your answer as soon as you read the paragraph, right? So let's go. What was the overall amount of money that Mr. Arthur paid for inventory? All right, so we now know that the paragraph we are reading is about Mr. Arthur, and we have to work out how much money he's owing for inventory. Let's check that out. On March 1st, Mr. Arthur purchased $600 worth of goods for resale. He received a 3% trade discount. All right, guys, let's talk about this trade discount first. A trade discount is simply a reduction in the invoice value because of persons who buy in bulk and so on. Now, a trade discount doesn't show up anywhere in your accounting records because it is simply a reduction in the value of the goods, and the reduction in value will be the amount of the invoice. So 600 subtract 3% gonna give you 582. So the invoice will now be 582 that we give to Mr. Arthur. Now let's move on. The invoice also states that 2%, 20 days, net 30 days. Now what you guys need to know is that this means he will have 30 days to pay, but if he does pay within 20 days, he will receive a 2% discount. Yes, guys, that's how it stands, right? So did he pay within 20 days? He settled the amount on 15 March. So yes, he paid within 20 days. So he's entitled to a further 2% discount from the initial 582 invoice total. 2% by 582 is $11.64. So the amount that he will be paying will be 582 minus the additional cash discount of $11.64, which is going to give you 570.36, guys, as your answer. All right, guys, great job so far. Nicely done. So far, these 17 questions are pretty basic for you all. You did not even have to pull out a calculator in too much instances, which is really good for us. All right, guys, so just recapping those answers, make sure you have them correct. Make sure you all are good with it. Nicely done, guys. I'm just recapping all the answers here, just highlighting them just to make sure you guys are very comfortable with everything you just saw. The plan first is to move on to question 30 in this video, and then in another video, I will go through question 31 to question 60. Hey guys, that's our plan. Don't want to make these videos too long for you guys. Right, so let's go straight back down to question 18, which we are currently into. Now, Mr. Abel and Mrs. Blue purchased goods from credit from Mr. Keen. Now, by the way, guys, again, as I said, exam technique, really requirement below, which the following figures represent the total Mr. Keen's sales account. So we're looking for a sales account. So Mr. Abel and Mrs. Blue purchased inventory from Mr. Keen. Inventories valued at 50 and 75 respectively. These are credit sales. They bought from him on credit. The customer came and paid in cash. That's cash sales. Now, guys, as you all know, sales was made up of both credit and cash sales. So if you add up 550 to the 50 to the 75, you're going to get 675 as your answer. Totally correct. All right, guys, good job. Time to move on to question 19, guys. What is the closing balance of the bank account? So here we have a T account, guys, a nice T account here. But debit side must be equal to a credit side, but we are not seeing any totals. So here what? Let's put in some totals. So 20,000 plus 2,000 going to give us a total of 22,000. So I'm going to put 20,000 here. All right, this is my debit side. My credit side should be the same 22,000. Yep. But I have 15,000 only. What is my balance carry down value, guys? Well, 20 minus 15 should give us 7. So here should be 7,000. And yep, that is in fact our answer, 7,000. Great job, guys. Looking pretty good. Now moving on to question 20. Rent expense still owing at the end of a period must be debited in profit and loss and shown in the statement of financial position as liability. What account and concept does it represent? Now, guys, matching concept is the way you match your expenses in the year against your revenue in that particular year. And even when you're owing money at the end of the year, that is the accruals concept there. So good job, guys. Matching slash accruals, that can work nicely. Good. All right, question 21. What is the total value of your fixed assets? So you now would have to go through your details given, look to see where your fixed assets are. Well, actually, total assets, not just fixed, but total assets. All right, motor vehicle is an asset. Nice. Accounts payable, no, that's a liability. So accounts receivable, yes, is an asset. Capital, no. Buildings, yes. So guys, you're seeing your assets highlighted right here. Total gonna give us $14,000. C is our answer. Good job. Question 22. Which the following arrangement shows the current assets out of liquidity? Current assets are those assets that can be converted into cash very quickly. Liquidity measures your liquid cash position, financial position, actual cash. The most liquid asset is cash in hand, and the second most will be cash at bank. So, guys, the only option for us here is A. Check it out. Cash in hand, then cash in bank, which is the only one there, and then AR. That's the only ones that will be one of liquidity. Good. Question 23. The owner withdraws cash or assets from a business. What effect does it have on the business drawings of capital? Well, when the owner withdraws cash or other effects, other assets from the business, it will definitely reduce his capital. Now, capital will increase when you put things into the business. Capital will reduce when you take things out the business. So B is the best answer there. Great. All right, moving on to question 24. Porter bought inventory for $500 on credit. In which book of prime entry will this be recorded? Well, if he's buying goods on credit, that should be the purchase journal, guys. D. Nicely done. Now, question 25. In an effort to raise capital, a company offered a $200 5% debentures at $100 each for subscription. 5% is an indication a company will do what? All right, so they're asking us what does the 5% represent? Now, the debentures are being sold to shareholders. Now, when we sell the debentures, this is like a form of a loan. The 5% represents loan interest or the debenture interest that must be paid back to shareholders. So it should pay back to the debenture holders, I should say. So C is the best answer there. 5% of the 200,000 must be paid back interest to the debenture holders. Great. Now 26, the working capital of Young and Sons was 15.5 and the value of current assets is 16.5 was the total current liability. So guys, you all know this. Working capital is current asset minus current liability. Current asset is 16,005 and well, the current liability is the unknown value. So let's write in some figures here. Current asset is 16.5. Current liability is unknown. That's what we're trying to work out. And it told us the working capital is 15.5. So the difference here is 1,000, guys. Easy like that, right? Awesome job. Question 27. When a net loss is incurred, how does it impact on the capital of a sole trader? Well, if a net loss happens, well, the owner's capital will be reduced. So there's a decrease in owner's equity. Good job, guys. Right, moving on to question 28. What is the inventory at the end of January? All right, let's check the data that we have. We have opening stock of 15, and we have purchases of 12. Then we have costs of goods sold as 14. All right, guys, now opening stock, add purchases. If you add these two values together, this will actually give us the amount of goods that we have available for sale, which should be 2,700. So we have $2,700 worth of goods that we can sell, right? But the cost of goods sold basically records what we did sell. So we can sell 27. We did sell 14. So the closing stock now is what we did not sell. Hope you guys got that, right? So what we could have sold was 27. That's what we have to sell. What we did sell was 14. Therefore, what we did not sell is the closing stock of 13. There we go, guys. So to get your answer would have been simply 2,700 minus 1,400. I would have gotten 1,300. But follow the concept and you should be fine, right? Good. Moving on to question 29 and 30 to close off this video with. And again, you'll look out for an upcoming video with the finishing of this paper with question 31 to 60. So let's have a look. Question 29, gross profit on the first and first out. Okay, so they're asking us to work with the gross profit on the first and first out technique. Now, you guys would know first and first out is a stock valuation technique that would be used when you all did stock valuation. You have seen that entirely. All we have to figure out in this question is what the gross profit will be under this first and first out technique. So let's work it out. So what we're doing is a simple trading account, to work out the gross profit. So here we go, right? I have a little breakdown right here. Sales would in fact be 45,000. So we have that. Purchases 10,000 here. Closing stock. Now the closing stock figure that we're going to be using to work out on the first and first is 5,000. So let's change this 3,000 to 5,000. Good. So purchases is 10. That's what we have to sell. Closing stock is 5. That's what we did not sell. So what did we sell? The cost of goods sold will be 5,000. Remember, purchases less closing stock will give you a cost of goods sold. So we sold $5,000 worth of goods for $45,000. So we made a whopping profit of $40,000, guys. And that was it. Look how simple that was. A simple trading account to get done. Nice. Great job there, guys, right? Really, really good stuff. Good. Now, the second part of this two-part question asked us in question 30 was the gross profit under the AFCO method. So, guys, the same exact calculations, except that we'll change the working figure from 5,000 to 3,000, and we should get our answer. So, let's see. Again, sales is 45. We purchased 10. Closing stock would now be moving from 5,000 to 3,000 under the AFCO method. Good. So if we purchase 10, we did not sell 7, well, so we did not sell 3,000, that meant we sell 7,000. 45 minus 7,000 will give us a value of 38,000. And there we go, guys. Nicely done. 38,000 is the answer there. All right, guys, a great job. So we handle up questions 1 to question 30, and you guys would realize that those questions were not that difficult and we got through pretty quickly with them. The majority of these questions were theoretical questions. Just a few of them involve using a calculator, and those which involve using a calculator weren't too bad. All right, guys, so good job there with those. Now, guys, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell to be informed of new videos that will be coming out on a regular basis. I'm going to actually prepare another video for you guys to show you all the remaining part of this paper, which is from question 31 to question 60. And then I intend to release some more videos to show you guys the solutions for some paper 2s as well. Alright guys, we're looking to get some more videos coming out very, very soon. Some exciting stuff to look out for. So please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also guys, feel free to WhatsApp or call or even send an email in case you guys are interested in joining my online POE and POB classes. Please note, I do have some small classes where you guys get individual attention, you get full practice with past paper questions, and definitely SPA assistance. Your success will be guaranteed. So please send an email, WhatsApp, or call in order to join these online classes. All right, guys. Well, I hope to see you guys back soon with some more videos. So until we meet again, have a good one.